haven't seen him. I saw him for a minute on Saturday, and I haven't really had a chance to be around him since. And so, I mean, obviously, a lot of conversations through text and whatnot, but my hopes are that we're going to be in a great place. Like I said before, there was a phenomenal win. Really excited for our players, excited for the staff, excited for the community. But our whole motto this year has been Mission First, Team Always, and we didn't circle that game on our calendar. It wasn't about South Carolina. It's about body of work come March. And so we still have plenty of work to do. As we know, every night out in the SEC is going to be a challenge. And so we'll get a chance to get on the court with them today. So obviously a quick turnaround. I've got bigger concerns than than still going back to that game, obviously. So we've got work to do. I think they're in a good spot. I'll have a better pulse today when we get out on the court with them.
Benjamin.
Hey, Coach. I want to ask you about Lauren Hansen, and specifically for maybe a reader of this column that's never seen her play before. Can you describe what makes her such a fun player to watch and such an important player to your team?
Yeah, so Lauren she loves the game, and she works on her craft very hard. You always see her posting videos when they're on break or away from Columbia. She's got a specific gym she's always going back to and working on her game. And so she's just so shifty. She's got good handle. She's got a really quick shot. She's got the ability to create some separation for herself. I think is a 3-level scorer. She showed, she can finish at the rim. She's got a mid-range pull up and she can shoot the 3. But, I think what she's really focused on this offseason is her defense. She's really trying to become a better defender so she can be a well-rounded player. I haven't really looked at the stats that closely lately, but I know at one point she was maybe leading our team in steals or second on our team in steals. And so I think she's really, the thing that I respect and admire, one of the many things, but I love how she's trying to be a well-rounded player and really taking some pride in her defense. I thought, one thing that people didn't talk about at the end of that South Carolina game in regulation, and I haven't brought it up to the team yet, but Henny had a pull-up jumper right there on the right side at the end of regulation. And I think we've seen possessions in the past where Lauren's got quick hands and she might try and get a quick swipe at the ball. And she did a phenomenal job of just making her hit a tough shot and contesting it, but not bailing her out with a foul. And that was, I thought, huge. Those are game-winning plays to give yourself a chance. And so it's fun to see her become a complete player. I think, she doesn't back down. She has no fear. She's gritty. She's tough. She's hard-nosed. She's not afraid to speak up in the locker room. I think she's really worked on her leadership in the offseason and becoming more vocal, very passionate. So we feel very blessed to have her here for sure.
Good stuff. I appreciate it, Coach.
You bet.
Ben.
Robin, I know you're always just a round of tests away from uncertainty, but right now, how do you look numbers-wise and health-wise going into tomorrow?
Right now at 106, we'll have more players than we had. I anticipate we'll have a few more than we had last time. But we'll see. It all just changes so fast, but we look in pretty solid shape. Not where we want to be, but solid shape.
Lila.
Was that enough for you?
That answers the question. Yes. Thank you, Robin.
Okay.
I'll ask you again tomorrow.
Okay.
Robin, just kind of how much of a challenge is it, I guess, when, you have a win like that, but you kind of want to build momentum off of, and then you have the COVID pause and now only have the one day to, practice and get ready for Auburn?
Well, I mean, it is definitely challenging, but we talk a lot about, and I've said this before in talking with you guys, part of our motto this year too is E plus R equals O. Events are going to happen, and how we respond to them will dictate or strongly determine the outcome. And so as frustrating as this is, because you just want to keep that momentum going, you want to keep practicing, you want to be on the court, you want to have your squad together. This is happening all over the country. And I have to believe at some point it's going to happen to every team around the country. And so, we've just got to control what we can control and, just have a proper perspective on things. And, the one thing COVID doesn't take away is your grittiness, your toughness, right? Your attention to detail. It might be a little clanky on the offensive end. You might not be quite where you want to be from a conditioning and leg standpoint, but, there's a lot of intangibles, I think, that go into playing the game. And so we've just got to control what we can control and understand this is the cards that have been dealt. We have to deal with them and keep our minds in a good space.
Jacqueline.
Hi, Robin. My name's Jacqueline. I write for Her Hoop Stats and The Next Hoops. I wanted to ask you a few questions about Mama Dembele. Just thinking back to her freshman season and now, what kind of improvements have you seen on both the offense and the defensive end, but especially in that offensive end?
Yeah, I just think overall she's just so much more comfortable out there. She's so much more confident. I think coming in as a freshman, as an international player, you come over to the States, it's, a different language, everything's new. And then you're in a pandemic and you're not supposed to leave your dorm room and you're supposed to do your classes on Zoom and don't be around the coaches, don't be around your players outside of practice. It just makes it really challenging. And then on top of that, to be a starter in one of the toughest leagues in the country. And so I think just having that year under her belt has helped her settle in. I think she's playing a lot more confident, doing a better job finishing around the rim for us. Showed some toughness, some willingness to shoot the three ball for us when we needed, doing a tremendous job, I think, just creating opportunities to transfer an advantage with her dribble penetration and pretty good handles defensively. She's always kind of been that gnat. I wouldn't want to bring the ball up against her. I think she's, if you ever check out her wingspan, it's amazing. It's like a 6-foot wingspan for her body. And so she's got those long arms and I think can create some opportunities for us on the defensive end too. But I just think collectively, she's just so much more comfortable and confident this season.
And then going back to, that South Carolina game, it looks like she led the team with 44 minutes and she went toe to toe with Destiny Henderson all night. Did you think she could compete with some of the country's best point guards this quickly in her career? And, how essential was she really to that win?
Yeah, she was huge. I mean, those minutes and just her being able to kind of orchestrate our offense was huge. Obviously had a huge fourth quarter for us offensively and being able to convert on some of those baskets. But I know a couple times she called for a sub, and that's, my message before the game: play as long as you can, as hard as you can. And at the first opportunity I can get a rotation in, I will, but you're going to have to play through some fatigue. And I tried to ignore her a couple times, or she actually came over to the bench at one point and asked for a sub. But, she's got a lot of toughness to her, a lot of grittiness. I know we've got a pretty close knit group this year, and they care a lot about each other and they just want to battle for each other. So you find a way to dig a little bit deeper, and we needed all 44 minutes of her for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.
Eric.
Hey, Robin, one aspect of the win over South Carolina that I don't think has really been talked about yet is just the recruiting aspect of how you kind of put the team together. You said phrases over the past couple of years of like building, diamonds in the fires or something like that. I'm sure I got it wrong. And you've related things back to the book you guys were reading a couple of years ago, but just how much of this win kind of, and getting back to, a solid record and a solid team, was that part of this? And, the lines you were saying back then actually like mattered and weren't just, I guess, talking points to say in the media and things like that.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all that hard work come into fruition. And, we talk a lot about trust in the process, and it's just huge. I think that's another aspect that made that win so special is to have some of our alumni there with us, and players that had laid a foundation, and then you couple that with a challenging couple years for different reasons. I mean, losing Sophie was huge. We ran our offense through her, and a bigger leadership piece that in that locker room than people realized. And then you have a COVID year, and we were right there, but we had a lot of new faces. We weren't a veteran team, and so for different reasons, they were challenging years. But really, really fun to just see. And the phrase is, I think diamonds are formed in the fires, but you've got to be resilient. You got to have some toughness to be able to get through it. But that's exactly what this last 6 months has been about. And we talked about that, but just the self-awareness, the reflection, owning what, individually and collectively we needed to own, and be solution oriented. What do we need to do moving forward? And it's been really cool. We spent a night down at the lake together, kind of a team bonding leadership retreat. We had the program come in that, did some different kind of Navy SEAL workouts with us. We did some different things that way, but we also went out in the community. We did some research on the alumni and presented to each other. And so really trying to get back to our roots, trying to get back to who we are, our core values. And because I think you can win at a high level with that. And we've proven that in the past, but to really embrace it and have the buy-in from everybody was super important. And I'm really proud of them for being able to lean in, especially after tough times. I mean, the easy thing is you bolt, you have adversity, and what's the latest and greatest, and let me take the easy way instead of just embracing it and really using it to sharpen you on and off the court. And I just think it says a lot about these girls' character. They didn't take the easy way. They embraced it, and they fought through it, and they showed resiliency and toughness. And again, it's just part of trust in the process.
Ben.
Robin, I know that it was the first time beating a number one team, but your program has had a lot of wins like this before, top 25 wins, top 10 wins. When you have a victory like that, what is the message like to the team moving forward about this is how we use a win like this moving forward as a positive, and kind of grow from there and have it be more than just that one win that night?
I think it helps when you have some great leadership in that locker room and in the maturity to be able to handle it. And again, we'll see. It's unfortunate that the last couple of days we haven't been together as a team, because I think there's some important opportunities and conversations that needed to be had. But first and foremost, I'm worried about my players' health right now and staff. And so it's like proper perspective. You got to put first things first. We shouldn't be talking about basketball when we're dealing with a pandemic and health issues and concerns. And so that's kind of made it a little bit challenging, to be honest with you. But I do know, I feel very confident, I should say, that this team has a really good understanding of what this mission is supposed to look like. And, I said it to our girls before the South Carolina game, the 8 that we're able to play, the mission has not changed. Nothing's changed, and we've got to keep on keeping on. And I think our girls, again, because of their leadership in that locker room, have a really good understanding of it's so much bigger than one game. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and that's what I said to them after the Baylor loss, a tough loss. And we didn't respond very well after that. I felt like we really struggled for about a week after that, but I think there were some lessons learned in there that we've been able to apply moving forward. And so my hopes are, and again, I can tell you a little bit better after practice today, but I think we're in a pretty good spot just with balancing all of that out.
Lila.
Robin, after the South Carolina game, I think you had kind of and you'd mentioned it kind of at other points throughout the season, just what the 6 months looked like leading up to this season. I think you had mentioned everyone really having to self-evaluate and look themselves in the mirror to get to the point where you guys are now. Could you share some more insight on kind of what that process looked like, especially kind of for you, as a coach?
Well, I just think, first and foremost, it starts with me. I can, at the end of the day, it all falls on me, and I've got to be, just strong enough shoulders to be able to embrace it and, ask myself tough questions. What did I miss? What could have I done differently? What do we need to do moving forward? And, I think when hopefully that's an example for our team to be able to do it. If the head coach of the team is willing to embrace that, look themselves in the mirror and figure that out, then we need to be able to do that collectively. And so it started with me, and then, it trickles on down to my staff and then to our players. But I think it goes back to recruiting, to be honest with you, recruiting young ladies that really have a growth mindset. We try to be very transparent in our recruiting process, who we are and what we're about. We don't roll out the red carpet. We want to be as real as possible. And so they understand what that's going to look like moving forward. And to be honest with you, leaning into our core values more. It's a 1 or a 0. We're either doing it or we're not. There's no gray area. We kind of did it here and we kind of did it there. No, we're either doing it or not. And it's that black and white. And so I think really taking that mindset, back in April when we started our individual workouts was really, really important. And our girls really embraced that. They did.
Benjamin,
Just real quick, I was curious, is that a shoe above your head on display?
A shoe above my head?
Like on your shelf, and is there any significance to it?
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know you could see that. That is a shoe. Let's see, who said that? I haven't looked at it for a while. So it was when I got my 500th win.
Oh, okay.
Nike sent it to me. So they sent a really cool box and then a pair of shoes that had 500 on them.
Cool. I was curious what made the shoe special to be on display. So I got my answer. Thank
I
you.
got to be careful on these Zooms. What's all in my background?
Oh gosh. Yeah, me too.
Diet Coke, so I'm safe.
Yeah. Thanks.
Natalie,
I'm curious, obviously I know you're getting back to practice today, but your initial thoughts on Auburn and what kind of challenge they present.
Yeah, tough. They're hard-nosed. They've got all the pieces. They've got some really explosive, quick, athletic perimeter kids. They've got some post players that do a great job finishing around the rim, and really good rebounders. Defensively, I think it's a team that really takes pride in their defense. I think their on-ball pressure is as good as we've faced so far in the SEC. It's a team that's got the ability to get out and go in transition. But they've got all the pieces. They've got strong perimeter play. They've got strong post players. They sprinkle in some threes. You can't not guard them from the 3-point line because they got kids that can knock down threes, but they're really good at dribble penetration and getting to the free throw line. And then, like I said, defensively, they play really hard. They're really gritty. I think they've had some really good wins, some tough losses, and still finding their way under a new coach.
Jacqueline,
Robin, going off of that, just what are some improvements? I know you didn't have like half of your team on last Thursday, but what are some areas of improvement that you'd like to see from the South Carolina game carry over into tomorrow's game against Auburn?
I really felt like we played with great pace. We talk a lot about playing off that pivot, playing with great pace, transferring the advantage, which we've been pretty good at for the most part all year. Obviously, we're up against a much stronger, bigger team, and didn't really compete on the boards as much as you'd like. But I think you also got to give South Carolina credit for their size and athleticism. But I thought, it was really big. We talked to our players about some of those other big wins we've had in the past against some of those ranked teams. And, it's not that we needed anybody to have a spectacular performance. What we needed to do is to really, hone in on the details and play with great discipline and great fundamentals. I thought we did a great job of taking care of the ball, of not forcing the action. I can't remember what we ended up with turnovers. Was it maybe 10 or 8? I can't remember, but, did a really good job of taking care of the ball, playing with pace. those are probably the things that really stick out to me that, you'd love to see us continue to carry over into SEC play.
Brandon,
Good job from the free throw line. That's an area that when you get an opportunity to get some free ones, you've got to take advantage of. I think we ended up shooting pretty well from the free throw line as well.
Coach, so after these past two victories have been kind of big monumental victories for you and your team. First of all, the win against Illinois was your 200th career win as a Missouri Tiger head coach, and then the win against South Carolina was against the #1 team. What has this season kind of meant to you, and how has the team kind of responded after that?
Yeah, so this is a team that you felt something special, and I think I might have said at the beginning of the year, I can't remember. I know we've talked about it as a staff, but just you can tell in the locker room, the conversations, the team meetings that you have, and it was a team that was really leaning in, that was being vulnerable. We were having raw, real conversations, and they were engaged. I think our 5 new players have brought a lot of passion and energy, and just a newness that was really refreshing. I think our returning kids showed a lot of maturity in the off season and growth from that standpoint. So just a lot of really cool things that happened and transformed after the last 6 months. But this isn't about me. This is about it takes a village. And I know I say that a lot, but I truly believe that. It's so cool to see the way our community has continued to embrace us and show up for us through the highs and lows. I'm blessed to be surrounded by a great staff, support staff. I mean, this is, we're all in this together. And so, it's a team that I will for sure say it's fun to go to battle with. Through the highs and lows and good days and hard days, it's really been enjoyable to go to battle with them and be in the trenches with them, because they are invested individually and collectively for mission first.
any more questions for Coach? All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.